Hello, Peachy here from Peachy TT120. Wishing you all a belated happy Easter. We had a nice little trip down south for Easter. I see my sister who still lives in London, and popped along. We thought, why don't we have a pop along to Margate and have a little look? See, so we popped down to Margate to get to the closest you can have at the moment to a retail experience with TT120. Popped into the visitor centre, had a lot of fun, saw a lot of history, talked about all the old gadget cars and trains that locos that I had when I was a kid. And of course we picked up a few little bits while we were there. All good. You get your discount at the till, your TT Club membership discount at the till. You don't collect points though, but hey, you still get the 15% off, so that's still a bit of fun. Paid for the cake. Right, what have we got in this video? Well, we've got the finishing of the power base, which had been probably would have been better on the previous video, but never mind, it's on this one. Then it goes straight into completed points, which I meant to do a little video about, but I got a bit carried away with the build. Sorry, I was enjoying myself a bit too much. Original plan had been that we were going to use surface mounted motors because of all the depth and changes in the foam, etc, etc. But then I'd seen someone on YouTube with tubes and cable wire pulling them from a little control area at the back. I thought, do you know what, that makes it a little bit fun, and that's cost effective and lightweight, so let's give it a go. So bought some 2mm with a 1mm internal diameter extruded carbon tubing from Easy Composites. It's actually really quite cheap, to be honest with you. It's nice and flexible, it's easy to work with, and inside that, and it's super stiff. And inside it, I've got some 0.8mm piano wire off of eBay. They operate now with, so that's been a little groove just under the surface, which will obviously get covered over. They get control at the back, and I'm going to switch them using a small little two-way switch that will actually also operate, which will switch the polarity of the frog as well. So that's all good fun. And then just for a giggle, we thought we would test all the points and have a little run with the loco and the train. So that's at the end, so make sure you stay on to the end of the video. Of course, please go to that saying, like and subscribe, and knock on that little bell if you want to keep up to date with what we're doing. I hope you enjoy the video. Right then, all the power base is now nicely installed. It's about just over 1.5 packs we used for this. You'll notice some of this was doubled up here, and that's so that we can cover up, so we can support the use of the points, and the points are in place. And this part of what will be the semi-fiddle yard is the hidden bit of the section, which is behind this wall. The reason why that has the plates on it is because obviously any loco coming up a ramp is going to continue to pull its wagons or coaches for some time. So I had enough plates, we thought we might as well use it. The only place I haven't put plates on are where it's dead flat. There's no real point for it. Okay. Talking of points, I've changed my mind again, but about what I'm doing. But we'll cover that in possibly the next video. So these points are now finished and operational. And now also this bunch at the top, they've also been
fixed into place. This one shows quite clearly why the power bases were put where I put them, and also something else of interest possibly is you may notice that I've put 3 pins or 3 nails in on this S-curve to get the best curve out of that I possibly can, which obviously will be removed once the glue's gone off. So hopefully that'll be a nice smooth sweep through the tunnel, for the like a little tunnel entrance into the back unit. And you may notice that I've put this is part of there'll be a back scene on here. You won't see these holes because there's a road on the top running which covers all of that, and a classic retaining red wall running in front, small tunnel in there, and these are just hand holes so I can go in there and fiddle. There's just enough space to have that end 2 carriages and then 2 racks of 2 carriages here. Invariably what we're running around on display will be just a loco with 2 carriages, possibly 3, but I think it'll probably look better with just 2, and so that's why we've got the little shuffle bit. The reason why I need at least one area that's dead straight is because for the coupling and for actually getting them on the track. There you go. Right, better go with my gluing. Right, so almost finished laying all the track. Done a few little tests with the Mark 1 coaches, and actually I'll do that again if I get in camera. And everything's all nice and sweet. Before I move on to doing the turntable, I thought this last section of curved track in the middle here, I thought I'd show you how I go about making sure there's no kink in the actual curve, which is obviously it's using these laser cut profiles. Okay, so I'm going to try and show you how I go about fixing the Pico streamline on a curve. Invariably, you're going to end up, especially if you do 180-degree curves like this, you're never really going to get one piece that goes all the way around. There just isn't enough in the 900mm of Pico length, so you're going to have a join. Now, obviously, it wants to spring out all the time. So the way that I do it, and plenty of other people do it, obviously, is using these laser cut plastic guides. You probably will notice that this doesn't look like the spacing for Hornby, and it isn't, because the spacing, the prototypical spacing that Pico do is 36mm, not the huge 43mm. I've done tests, there's plenty of space for 57-foot Mark 1s, Pullman cars, etc., to get past itself on these curves. You can get a slightly longer, more modern ones through, but it's very, very close. This set won't be having the long, modern intercity carriages run round it, and I think I probably wouldn't use 36mm as spacing on curves if I was running longer, more modern stock. So on my next layout, which is for upstairs, I'll put a bigger spacing. I think you probably 39 gives you a little bit more leeway for things rocking around, you know. Anyway, well, these laser cut pieces, got them from a chap who's Mark, who's on eBay. Now, he does them for Hornby, but I sent him a little direct message and said, if I give you some radiuses, could you do them for me for Pico with 36 spacing? He said, yep, no problem. So that's what he's done. So that's what I'm using. So what I start off doing is, when you want to cut the rails to the correct length, you've got that awkward thing of the fact that they actually move within the buffer, within the sleepers. So if you start off with fitting one of these guides in. Let's get that one out of the way. Okay, and then get yourself a Sharpie. And then you can position this last sleeper to exactly where you want it, and then mark with a Sharpie where you want to cut the track. So using a good old pair of trusty Zerons now. I've seen a number of people cut with different ways with these. I like the vertical cut. Some people prefer the horizontal. And personally, I think there's much of a muchness between the two of them when you're using this Co 55 that has this double edge. Is that ever going to show on there? I don't think it is. But this double groove, whether you cut it that way or that way, you're always going to get some kind of deformation, slight deformation on it. And this is the way that I personally prefer to do it. And then use a scalpel to just have a little crack at the burrs that you have in that area. Right, okay. That's a case of getting a fish plate, not a cut piece of rail. That won't work, will it? I've got to get myself some new readers for this small stuff. Okay, next one. Okay. Now, what I'm meant to do is I need to line this up again. So we can see where that there are different lengths there, but then when that bends around, so it looks like that when I cut them. When I've cut them, but as soon as it bends around to the right size, they're obviously parallel. Okay, again. Okay, no, that one's fallen off. What I might do is put this in to here, and that way I get more space for the fish plate to go back on. Okay. Now it's time to insert these. Cool, happy with that. Right, let's just pop the dead sleeper underneath there to help make sure it stays in the right position. Pop that out. Right, now we're happy with that, we can then insert this. Now the joint is perfectly curved where we want it. Great. Let's pause that there. Right, so everything's cut to length. Sort of the other end, which is off camera. Now we just need to ease in a bit of this my favourite super fast speedy bond. So I'm just going to squirt some underneath there, like that. I'm also going to throw some in at the joint, quite a big lump, which you might think, that's a bit messy, but once I've done my ballasting and all the jiggery pokery of weathering up the rails, it'll be like it was never there. I do want to get some on the other side of that sleeper there. There you go. Line the sleeper up. Get the that to click back in. There you go, happy with that. Now I have got, I'm just going to move camera. Okay, so for the straight, I am going to stick a few nails in to help it. So just to make sure I've got the spacing exactly where I want it to be. Right, that's all exactly where I want it to be. So then it's a case of showing some weight on where you want it. Personally, I run out of weights, tend to stick a couple of bottles of whiskey in. Right, don't suppose I can do much now really until the morning. Okay, well, let's have a little running test, shall we? But before I do that, just want to talk about some of the radiuses we've got on here. Now, this is a 4 foot by 3 foot board, so it's really quite small, but I think that's the beauty of TT120. You really can get a lot into a small space. This inner curve here, so this first ring is Hornby second radius, so 310. But then, unlike the rest of the Hornby, we don't drop up in 43s, we drop up in 36 mm spacing. So this is a little bit under radius 3, and this is a little bit more, 6 under radius 3, and this is 12 under radius 4. But I think everything works fine. There's one radius 1 curve, and that's here. But the only thing that's ever going to go on here eventually will be little coal wagons. So they should have no problems. Now then, last night we were, I was going to do a little test over the points by pushing some carriages, and these Mark 1s I picked up. And I thought, well, actually, it might be more fun to have a little train run. So dug out my Gauge Master Combi, which I bought second hand when I originally bought the Scotsman electric train set late last year, because I think we all know that the to keep the price down, Hornby have pretty much give you this disposable power pack that is really of no use. So anyway, picked up a Gauge Master. Obviously it worked perfectly. So let's see how she runs. Now remember, this is plugged in just one end, so I'm not using the bus in any way, which obviously I will be using the bus when I finish wiring this up, because I want all the frogs to be powered, and I'll be going a little bit quicker than perhaps I would normally play, just because of the fact that we need to get over the large unpowered at the moment frogs. Right, well let's see how she gets on. Okay, through the first set of points perfectly, excellent. Now I'm not sure how well it will cope with the incline, seeing as we don't have the power base in, but I don't think we need it because these Mark 1s run quite well. It will be, if I want to pull more than 3 or Pullman cab. The Pullman cars with lights seem to have a lot of friction. Anyway, back to the points. Yep, through the second set, perfect. Let's give it a little bit more juice. So that's 50% power. No wheel spins, absolutely fine. Through that set. Now, that was the test. That second curve, up the Hornby second radius, 310 radius. But perfect, absolutely perfect. Right, let's see if she'll do it in reverse. Cheat. Are we going to have any issues on these? No, perfect. I've noticed there's a little bit of carriage scuffing going on. I think on these early ones I didn't give them enough clearance. Now there's a chap on the forums that has shown us how to where they're hitting, and it just needs a little scrape with a scalpel, so we'll do that before we finish. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. Right, onto the turntable, I guess. Let's go and get the instructions out.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. Certainly enjoyed driving a loco for the first time in years. I mean, it's got to be 10 years at least since Jimmy's little Pendolino we had going. And of course, please like and subscribe and share on any Facebook group you want to, or forums, etc., etc. Cheers. Bye bye. See you soon.